Welcome to the Rich Bitch Show. I'm your host, Kandice Lee, a soulful multi-six-figure business mentor helping you create next-level wealth and alignment in your life and business. I believe that having a high-quality business that delivers high-quality results will feed a life and future of wealth, health, happiness, and abundance from wherever you want in the world. I'm here every week to help you vibe higher, reclaim your power, and create the reality and wealth that you truly desire. So let's get started.
Ready being a decision. I have a whole program. It's called Momentum. It's inside our vault, and it's all leadership and thought leadership. And one of the things that I also say is when it's so important, because think about how much you're probably already noticing how much space is energy is going to spaces that aren't needed in your life right now. And things when you decide. So for example, when I started realizing that I had to act from my next level self, the reason I became her, I'm going to go ahead and say quite quickly, like my timeline shouldn't make sense, but yet when I look back, I'm like, of course it does, because I had to stretch myself so freaking much. And I probably should spend more time talking about this. Now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, I never talk about this.
Talk about it. Let's go.
I had to humble myself so freaking much because every time I knew I needed someone's support, for example, whether it's I hired a practitioner, when I hired a therapist, when I hired a mentor, when I rehired that mentor, when I hired a new mentor, when I had a mentor for two different reasons, anytime I've invested in myself, I had to stop and notice that the reason in that first year of my business, everything felt so complicated. Everything felt icky. I didn't feel good. I didn't fit up. I was like, oh, like this is part of being a business owner. And like, we're in one of those seasons and whatever else. And when I recognized the fact that ultimately my highest self knows what I need, and we get that inkling of like, I need to go into this space or get this support or have this conversation or book this thing, right now, there is something you need or you want, and you keep coming back to it. You circulate it in your mind, then you talk yourself out of it, and then you give yourself when I get here, I'll do that, or when I have this, I'll do that. And I get it. We don't all have liquid resources available right away, but I am telling you, the moment that I started being like, I know I need that, and it was like, that's it. I'm figuring out a way. Let's go. I saved myself so much mental energy, so much space. And what does momentum love? Momentum loves movement. So if you're choosing to sit in something and avoid it, avoidance equals stagnation. And that's like one of the things I ingrained into my leadership and into my thoughts, because it was like, if I can catch myself when I'm avoiding something, I can remind myself, Kandice, you're deciding to stay stagnant. Instead, it was like momentum loves movement. I already know that's what I need. And I know that because it wouldn't keep circulating. It wouldn't keep circulating within my energy, within my mind. If it wasn't, I'm just moving. And when you start moving, there is just something, Kevin, you get that. There's just like something that literally changes within you. Like you literally become another person. My experience and from what I watch with clients, on the other side of each investment you make. Mm-hmm. Every time that you actually trust yourself and back yourself and decide to move, because you can't decide to do this and go be the past version of yourself. You can't go in both directions.
You can't go forward and back.
So it's like, go forward, keep going forward. And if something happens, your life crumbles, been there. What are you going to do? What needs to pivot? And keep making decisions. Like I could have done so many things differently to like unsupportive and ended up backwards, right? But I kept focused on my leadership. Like what creates momentum? Movement. So what are we doing, right? Who am I being from this crumble? Not what am I making this crumble mean for me? Who am I being because of this crumble, right? What am I going to make this mean for me? What does this get to mean for me? What am I deciding? And that's I just feel really called to share that, because I feel like too, a lot of you are probably in a season of reflection or in this activated season because it's the new year and like, this is your year, but like also check in with these factors because these are the things that happen behind the scenes when you see people reaching success or celebrating things that go untalked about. Like my clients that are winning and you're seeing their wins on my side of things. They're not going on their stories and talking about having to like humble themselves or having to like realize where they've stayed stagnant or what they've chosen in the past or what they had to do to overcome that fear of investing or moving or learning what they didn't yet know. So we're going to bring it here to you.
Yeah, people don't post about how they invested in a dating coach before they met their dream partner.
Right? Exactly. Or any, like, I really notice it, well, everywhere. Like, anytime I don't share of every investment I make, but I do always, I try and take note of what I'm mastering or what I'm learning or what I'm leaning into. Specifically when I was in seasons of mastering and learning a lot of things that I didn't yet know.
Mhm. Yeah, and I mean that's such a there's a million different ways to be like there's two kinds of people in the world. But one of those splits is like there's the kind of people who revel in learning new things and are so excited to learn new things and are so willing to be like, "Oh, I don't know how to do that." But what I want is on the other
Mhm.
side of not knowing how to do that. So I'm going to learn how to do that. And then there's the other
Yeah.
kind of people who it's like, I'm scared to admit that I don't know something. There's a part of me that's, call it the ego that is
Humble pie.
afraid, yeah, is afraid to eat the humble pie.
Yeah.
And so this thing that I want is on the other side of not knowing this, but I can't even take the step into admitting that I don't know this, and therefore there's no chance of taking the step into actually learning this, and therefore there's
Mhm.
no chance of taking the step into actually knowing this and being able to get the result from knowing it.
Yeah.
For you, though, talk to us about. I want to say, obviously, it's not necessarily easier. Being a mother comes with challenges. Having hundreds of clients comes with challenges. But for you, I feel like it was easier in this particular dimension of like, you couldn't go backwards. With
No.
two children and hundreds of people depending on you for leadership in their businesses, failure was not an option, you know? You could have gone through your breakup and started abusing drugs, right? Just crazy
Yeah.
examples, but like, like that wasn't on the
So,
table for you at all, right? So talk to
no.
us about how, maybe people need to find something outside of themselves that pulls them forward, right? Like your children, for example.
You do. And I think that having, your values, like I always say, build from your values. If you're just building because you saw Betty on the internet make $1 million and you want to experience a private jet, maybe just reconsider what you've built from because when life wobbles, you sure as hell will, and your income will, and your business will, and that's not going to make you $1 million every year. Like that's just not sustainable. I don't wish everybody to go through life crumbles or, experience what I did. And I'm not projecting that out. But as women, since you're noting the fact that I'm a woman and a mother, you're going to experience losses. You're going to experience gains. You're going to experience trouble. You're going to experience circumstances or situations that are less than ideal. Let's word it like that. And if you need a hot freaking minute to experience the experience that you're having as a human being, you can't afford, I couldn't for sure, to have a business or an income or an identity that's wobbling alongside of it.
Mhm.
So, like, yes, I lost my life partner, our family home. Like, I walked away or was released, is what I've like been reframing this as. Everything that not going where I was going. I am so honored and grateful for the season where I had those friendships, that partner, that lifestyle. And when I was released of that, and all of that felt like it was like literally just crumbling, right? It was falling down, and I was being released from it and like re-navigating my way to my path. As we've noted in this episode, my identity didn't change. I only slowly reinvented and upgraded. My values didn't change. My vision pivoted. My business didn't wobble. My income didn't wobble. Like the things that kept me secure, calm, regulated, and being able to be there for myself and my children were freaking solid. And I think that's what, thank you. I think that's what really, I'm going to use the words like saved and healed me, was that inner little girl who didn't have security growing up, who didn't have consistency growing up, who didn't have a regulated, calm, let alone present mother. And I got to like go and be that. I've always been that for my kids, but like in this season, it was the three of us, and I got to be that for them and for myself. And it was like,
In a season where it would have
wow.
been so easy to not.
Right. And society is like, oh, even my own parents, like, Dad, if you're listening, I do love you and I see where you're coming from. But like, holy smokes, even my own parents, this shit, look at the hearts, this stuff that came out of their mouth towards me around my expectations of the world or around what and I mean, keep in mind, and I'll never air what happened behind the scenes. They had no idea what I had just walked through and the reasoning for things and, you know, what certain people are capable of because they have their own experience with that person. And at that same time, I'm getting projected on of like, oh, Kandice, like I'd hate for you to end up like your mom, or like, oh, you know, you're going through similar issues. Like you have no idea, like the stuff that people will say, right? And being able to be like, I'm really sorry that you are worried about that. Let me reassure you, I trust myself. And in the meantime, you're going to have to trust me too. And for now, I'm also going to protect my own peace and I'm going to have some boundaries. And this is what that's going to look like. And continuing to move on and move forward, because there were so many parts throughout that whole journey where I recognized, like, had I not done the work I had done for the 4 years prior, I don't know what single motherhood would look like for me. And at the same time, society had all of these like projections and things and beliefs that they were like dumping on me around it. Right. And I was like, I had so many moments I would sit in bed and be like, wow, like this could be so different right now. And that's what gave me so much gratitude for one, this industry, what mentorship actually does and means, like having a stronger identity, continuing to work on my identity so I could continue to walk through these little hurdles and continue to reinvent myself, but to also have and hold love and compassion in moments where I could have been like, fuck the world. And I'm not being over exaggerated. Like I could have totally been like, I'm moving to an island. No one's seeing me again. And instead, it's like, okay, cool. What do we need in this moment? You know?
Yeah, coming back to the two questions and like having that depth of clarity that you had in yourself of like, this is who the fuck I am.
Yeah.
This is what I'm here to do and what I'm here to experience allowed you to see other people's words for what they were, which were projections of, you know, even your parents. It's like it comes from a place of
Yeah.
love, but it can get so distorted with the fear of like, you know,
Yes.
when they say blah 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 blah, what they're really trying to say is like you said,
I'm terrified.
I'm worried. Yeah, exactly. I'm worried about you. When in reality, it's like, say that then, you know, say you're scared.
Like, let's have a
Don't tell me,
conversation.
yeah, don't tell me how I need to feel or what I need to do right now because you're not me.
Or who I'm going to be or how I'm going to end up, you know? I don't know. I'm obviously the black sheep of the family. I feel like that's pretty clear. And I nothing wrong with that, by the way. So fellow black sheeps, just drop like a black heart in my DMs. I have triggered my family a lot. We can turn that into a whole episode if you really wanted. So let us know if you want that. My family's very used to Kandice calling and being like, I'm on the other side of the world. How's it going? And they're like, you what? You left that country, you know, the world's shut down. What do you mean? And like all sorts of things where my family was like, Kandice, are you really sure? And so I would just protect my peace, do what I knew I needed to do, and then call them on the other side of it or throughout it. And my family has done a really good job at, I'm going to say, knowing how to handle me. And for the most part, not projecting a lot of their things. But I think because it's unconventional, the way that I live, the way that I work, the way that I think isn't average. And, you
Almost
know,
exceptional, one might say.
One might say. And I feel like in all of that, I continued to remember I had to keep going first. If I stop because my mom is like, Kandice, what do you mean? Like, we don't do this, or like, this isn't normal. Or my dad and his wife are like, Kandice, you don't want to end up a single mom. Like, interesting, right? Or you can't travel, the world's shut down. It's not safe. What, you can't homeschool? How are they going to be socialized? Like, whatever it was that people felt the need to share their belief system with me, I had to keep reminding myself I'm the invitation to them. And if I stay true to myself, I will continue to help them see that it's safe. And think about this with your marketing and your representation. So this is how deep leadership goes and why it's always all encompassing in your life and your business. I can continue to show them that it's safe to actually do what you want or what you feel you need to do or what you feel is best for you, and continue to create safety in that. And I honestly right now have the best relationship with my mother that I've ever had in my entire life. And I honestly feel that it's because we've reached this point where one, she trusts my decisions a little bit more. And she's created this like sense of safety in knowing like and experiencing things. She just went on like a 10-day trip and like just it's so interesting to see where we are now, where she's not dropping projections on me. She's just like staying open. We both have a little bit of our own boundaries, and we know how to approach and support and hold one another.
Hell yeah. Congratulations. And yeah, you said the keywords. We're bringing up another one of my favorite Candicisms is leadership in its simplest form is just I go first. And
Yes.
that's life because the moment that you are not going first, it's like in this example, if you let your mom go first in that regard, she says, "Oh my God, Candice, I'm so scared for you." It's like now you're following her, but she's following her unhealed traumas from her own
Yeah.
mother, and she's
Yeah.
following society's rules and regulations about what's okay and not okay for women. And now all of a sudden, instead of you going first, instead of you being the leader of your own life and writing your own story, you're caught up in God knows how many other different people's quote unquote leadership. You're being led by them, but they're not leading themselves. So now
Yeah.
you're tethered by a string or a chain to this big whirlpool of ridiculousness that it is going to make it really hard to get to where you want to go while you're just spinning.
And can you be okay? I don't know, right away I got a picture of like how many people are spinning because of this. Can you be okay being misunderstood for a little while?
Question of the day, guys.
Because if you can, then it's time, right? If you are like, you know what, yeah, I can be okay being misunderstood, knowing full well I don't have to make this big meaning that I'm going to lose my family. They're going to disown me. They might misunderstand you, but they'll never not love you. Even something, just woman to woman, mother to anybody in the world, nurturing energy to you. I tell my children every single day, there is absolutely nothing good nor bad or that you could ever do that would make me love you less. Nothing. Nothing you could tell me, nothing you could do, nothing you could say, nothing. You are allowed to be unconditionally loved and do whatever the fuck you want with your life. And if there's a little bit of misunderstanding and they have to kind of catch their bearings and be like, whoa, this is very new aged, give them that opportunity to do that because there's so much growth in that for them. And you get to stay calm and regulated and be there for that. Or if you decide that's not best for you, that's totally your journey. But like I would just always say, like, yeah, it's really good. When they would ask me questions, I wouldn't dump on them. I wouldn't share the struggles and the wins. I was always very neutral. I just kept it very secure for them. Like, things are really good. Thanks for asking, or I'm working on this thing. It's really exciting right now. I'm supporting a client that's over here in the world right now. Like, that's been a ton of fun. And I just kept it light until I felt safe enough to explore deeper conversations around what I was doing with them.
Hell yeah. And that, I mean, that's huge. I was like chills as you said that. I was like, damn, I wish my parents told me stuff like that when I was growing up. But yeah, no, I mean, that's, you're saying new age. It truly is like you got to get with it or get lost because this is the new wave. Like this is the world
Yeah.
that is being created right now. And if you are not loving yourself, loving your family, loving your children with this level of unconditional love, then like you're gonna get left behind. And like I'm
Yeah.
not trying to say this as like from a place of eliteness, but it's just like this is where we're going as a society, point blank, period.
Yes. And just even like, yeah, I'm going to leave it at that. Absolute period. Period.
It's
It's
all
so
love.
wild. And
Gotta be love.
yeah. And like, just to even see how so many people are really opening their mind to the fact that working looks different. What we do for work looks different. How we work looks different. How people choose to identify looks different. Like, there's just everything is different. And the more, I'm going to use the word values again, the more as long as you staying true with your values, and when I'm 80, I'm still going to feel really freaking solid about who I was and who I am and the choices I made, you're fine.
Yep.
Because that's who you have when you're 80 is you. And I think that we get so caught up in all of it and we give, again, all of it meaning like the fear of losing love, I think is a big piece, a really big piece as
I think yeah.
humans.
Fear of losing
Um,
love, fear of feeling like you don't belong. It's like we have
yeah,
we have the
yeah.
tribal circuitry in
Tribe.
us is like so
Yeah.
powerful, like beyond like, okay, I have food to eat, I have water to drink, I have shelter. That's like the very
And then
next thing
right
is like
below.
I need to
Yes.
belong.
Yes. I'm reading the book Tribes. It's so funny that you just said
Yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And it really is that like, yeah, that need to belong and sometimes in multiple places. And I think the last couple years, what's really supported me is the knowing like I love myself. Like I've really come into full unconditional love with myself and with my journey and with where I'm going and like spending time alone, knowing that I belong in places, but also being okay that I might be in a season where I don't, or where I was like navigating and finding where I wanted to belong. Yeah, it's really big. I love that. I feel like the more that you can keep coming back to those pieces and creating and cultivating that safety within yourself, whether you're saying it out loud, whether you're journaling it, whether you're listening to something that makes you feel that and remember that, that'll be really supportive.
And that's in the vault if you're looking for something to listen to.
It's all in the vault.
Yeah, I think too, just one last thing before we start talking about business again
Forever.
is like asking yourself why you want the things that you want. Because if you're like, I want the Lamborghini, and I'm like, why do you want it? And you're like, because I want to go fast. It's like, fuck yeah, bro, go get your Lamborghini. But if I'm like, why do you want the Lamborghini? And you're like, because so and so has a Lamborghini, right? Because 50 Cent has a Lamborghini. That's why I want it. It's like, bail out, pull the pull the
Yeah.
plug, like find out what you really want and why you really want it. Pursue that. Things like not only will things be easier, they'll be so much more rewarding and fulfilling, and like the right people will come into your life too when you're
Yes.
actually like on a path towards something that means something to you and not just again to use the whirlpool image again, just a bunch of people spinning around. Yeah, that was what was coming up for me. So there we go. Great
I
tangent.
love that. I have a yeah, it's great team. Way to go. I'm gonna start clapping like you clap. I had a client yesterday. Yesterday. Yes. And she's working on normalizing 10K months right now. She's like, what? She recognized it. And this is why we love getting into mentorship because we start to become self-aware. And she's like, I'm really struggling to see myself as somebody who makes 10K. I'm really struggling to ask for the sale. I'm really struggling to say the price out loud. She really noticed her money mindset wobbles. Obviously, huge money mindset girl over here. It's a literally such a massive part of the work that we do with clients. And one of the I said, I'm going to give you 3 prompts. I want you to journal them every single day. This is what she said. What can I do every single day that will still be simple? And honestly, like submerge yourself into a money mindset season because you will come out a completely different woman. But what does 10K months mean for my clients?
What does
Then
10K
what
months
does
mean for my clients?
right? So
So
it
like if
sounds
I'm
weird
making
because you're like,
10K, what does it mean for the
what does
people
that
that
mean
I'm
for my
supporting?
clients? Yes. Like really get into that. Well, that means I'm supporting X amount of people. This many people, she's in fertility and hormones. This many people are healing their hormones. This many people are becoming successfully pregnant. Like, what does that truly mean for them? And then what does that mean for you? Not just the 10K sitting in your bank account every month or 10K coming in every month. What does that mean for you, your future, your children, your partnership, your marriage, your lifestyle, your health, how you then, because you know, for me, a big piece was like quality and overflow, how you pour back into your community, your collective, your humans, your clients, everything else that you're doing, your family, really getting full circle with all of it. I think oftentimes we leave clients out of the why.
Yeah,
And if
yeah,
you're of
yeah,
service and in a service-based industry, you really want to stay fully connected to the whole thing.
yeah.
And you'll notice that you approach everything so differently. Like when clients text me, not text me, but like shoot a text over in the group thread, Vox or whatever it is. And it's like, I got a new client. And I'm like, congratulations to you and to the client. Right? I never say like, yes, another win, stacking the
Yeah,
wins. It's
yeah,
like,
yeah.
right? It's like, I'm so proud of you and I'm so proud of that client
Mhm.
because it's really a full circle moment. Like
Yep.
they chose whatever type of support, they chose to invest in themselves, circulate money, grow, evolve, transform. You get to then be a part of that. It's just really beautiful, actually, when you think about the whole thing. It doesn't have to feel icky or intense or heavy, you decide.
Yeah, because this isn't Wolf of Wall Street. So it's not
No.
like you are gonna limit your own income if you don't genuinely feel like this person is getting not just their money's worth, but like beyond. If you don't genuinely feel like you can transform people's lives, then like you're always gonna limit yourself in sales. And most of the
Yeah.
time, and this is again like you're saying, like this is why mentorship is so amazing. It isn't that you don't offer enough. It's that you don't see
Yeah.
yourself as someone who offers enough. And then instead of working on seeing yourself differently, going inward, you just go outward. How do I offer more? How do I do more stuff?
Yeah.
How do I stack this offer even higher? How do I market even more? And that's where the burnout comes in. When it's like the thing that you were looking for was within you and you just went looking for it everywhere else. That last little piece that needed to fall into place.
Yeah. The whole damn time. I love that. I love that so much. I feel like that's such a great spot to wrap this up. But I do want to say that that is where it is absolutely where the burnout's coming from and where you're busying yourself. And as soon as you start to create new beliefs, and we've created lots of episodes in season 2 about this, so go binge them. But new core operating beliefs of every single thing I say carries value. I always say the right thing at the right time. I know exactly what my clients need to hear. It's not about, oh, I have to make sure I blow their mind every day. It's just about always being true in your leadership, in how you respond to clients, in how you guide them, lead them, feel into them, how much you're truly invested into them because they feel that. I have a client right now, she's celebrating a 32K month, and she's like, I think this month I'm finally going to get into the vault. Okay. So we've increased her monthly income by $22,000 per month. She hasn't accessed half of the tools or resources. This is literally just her and I and a couple of others, obviously, in our cohort, chatting, talking, problem solving, redirecting, simplifying, restructuring, tweaking marketing. This isn't her getting access to everything she has. And so I hope that you actually can take this for a moment and recognize that sometimes it's more so about people just being able to ask questions in a day-to-day, right? Getting feedback on something, having your support, your eyes on their journey, whether that's nutrition, fitness, health, mindset, business, money, finances, marriage, relationship, whatever. Just knowing you're there, having the support, being able to change the way that they're approaching it in micro moments can literally make the biggest transformation.
22K in a month transformation.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Love it.
Cool.
Okay, future millionaires, thanks for hanging out with me in today's episode. I cannot wait to hear your takeaways from it. If you haven't yet, take a quick screenshot and share this to your stories. Tag me so I can shout you out for elevating and showing up for yourself. I want you to remember you were born deserving of a wealthy life, and now it's time to create it.